Somebody shot my dad. I get the killer mentality. I come from murder and tragedy. Single burn home and family. Do this shit for my whole family. I'ma go get me a Grammy. You know that I'm missing you, Granny. Backbone to my whole family. I got to turn for the family.
What's good? What's good? DC, Maryland, Virginia, worldwide. Welcome to the last final episode of season 1 for Life After the Gunshot. But before we bring on our panel of esteemed and illustrious, because you know we keep illustrious guests on the show, before we bring back everybody that we had come on throughout the whole season, you know we're in a very, very crucial time right now in terms of the charges that were levied against the officer that killed Breonna Taylor. And as we know, those charges are unacceptable, and they will remain unacceptable until we find federal charges to indict all of the officers for murder. But Che, you wanted to say something? I'm Doc Joe Rich, one of your hosts with my man Che Bullock.
Have a moment of silence, just for, Breonna and the situation, or with that situation, what I mean? She truly, going to be missed and loved, missed and loved by her loved ones. So let's just take a moment, full 30 seconds, just to be in silence, man. Hey guys, man, I pray change is gonna come. Sam Cooke, said it the best, man. I think we just got to stay focused. Understand that we're at war with the system and the streets. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, let's live, love, and laugh. You know what I mean? And try not to get indoctrinated into this dark spirit, that we got over our heads right now. Just stay focused and build a brick wall. You know what I mean? Brick by brick. And
one last thing I want to say for everybody that's going to be out there tonight, man, just stay safe, man, and look out for each other, because I know people going to be out all night, protesting as you should, but just stay safe, stay protected, and look out for each other's back. God bless everybody that's going to be out there tonight as well. So let's get into the video, man, before we jump into our people.
During the last 6 months, we've all heard mention of possible charges that could be brought in this case. It's important to understand that all of the charges that have been mentioned have specific meanings and ramifications. Criminal homicide encompasses the taking of a life by another. While there are 6 possible homicide charges under Kentucky law, these charges are not applicable to the facts before us because our investigation showed and the grand jury agreed that Mattingly and Cosgrove were justified in the return of deadly fire after having been fired upon by Kenneth Walker. Let me state that again. According to Kentucky law, the use of force by Mattingly and Cosgrove was justified to protect themselves. This justification bars us from pursuing criminal charges in Miss Breonna Taylor's death. The truth is now before us. The facts have been examined, and a grand jury comprised of our peers and fellow citizens has made a decision. Justice is not often easy. It does not fit the mold of public opinion, and it does not conform to shifting standards. It answers only to the facts and to the law. With this in mind, we must now ask ourselves, where do we go from here?
Yeah, where do we go from here? And I can't believe, although he may be our color, he is not our kind. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's bring in our illustrious and esteemed guests. Let me set it up, and you can jump in, check. Yo, we ran from 1 to 5 with the most amazing guest we could get to talk about gun violence on the show. And we not only going to talk about gun violence interpersonally, but gun violence by the state, which we just saw, and the structural violence, the structural racism that's going on in society. So, our top 5 guests that we've had on this show, my man, Rollo Whaley from Cure the Streets.
Hey,
Good baby boy.
what's going on?
You heard, what's up?
What's going on, everybody? I'm so happy to be able to be a part of this cast and this show with all these great, dope people on here. Thank y'all.
We appreciate it, bro.
And the queen of our show, and the queen that does some of the most work out there in DC, Guns Down Friday, Miss Juwan Hardy.
Miss Hardy. Guns Down Friday.
How you doing? What's up, guys? Honored to be here today.
Salute. Welcome. And this brother right here, we probably don't even need no introduction, but you know what I'm saying. His name is Charles King. We call him Booby.
Booby.
What's up? I'm here. Most definitely here. Went missing for nothing in the world.
Yeah.
I went missing for nothing in the world. I'm here.
What's good, Booby?
Just taking it easy, man.
Good, baby.
Like
boy.
Bravo said, just happy to be a part of this cast. We can get some topics out here.
Then we couldn't have this conversation without our young king, right? It would only be right that we have our young king, man. You know what I'm saying? Also known as Young Fresh.
Young Fresh.
Well,
Young Freshy Fresh. We can't see you.
y'all can't see me.
Nah, but we can hear you. And then last but not least,
There I go.
my brother who should be running for mayor, but he don't want to do it. But he the unofficial mayor to us and definitely should be running for council. But I'm going to introduce him as Professor Tony Lewis. Professor Lewis, what's good?
Tony.
Lewis Bay.
There you go.
Okay, Lewis Bay, brother. Welcome in.
AKA Lewis Bay. Professor Lewis in the house.
What's up to the illustrious? Pleasure to be here, man. Honor and a pleasure all the time. Appreciate you guys.
Before we get started, man, I just want to say thank you to you guys, man, because you guys was really a phone call away. You know what I mean? Or a text away. You know what I mean? And I definitely salute y'all on that, man. And I feel like, that's what we need to do as people, man, just stick together. And I was telling the doctor the other day, man, if we stay united, we can't be beat. You know what I mean? So once again, man, I just want to say thank you for being that one phone call away, that one DM away, or however we got in contact with you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was right there. So I definitely salute you. And I want to say thank you. You know what I'm saying? From the bottom of my heart and the Life After the Gunshot team, man.
Yo, I echo that. And I want to just salute y'all for all the work that y'all doing in DC, all the contributions that y'all made to save lives and turn lives in the other direction. I'm honored, humbled that y'all, first of all, y'all came on the show for the first episode, but that y'all came back. So I just want to say I'm honored. Life After the Gunshot honors y'all. And whenever y'all want to come back, that's nothing but a phone call. So look, I want to jump into it about that clip because we can't move on. We had a lot of things. We got a lot of ground we want to cover for the show, but we can't really jump into what we wanted to jump into first without acknowledging what just happened in terms of Breonna Taylor and the officer that just basically was charged with a Class D felony, which is essentially equivalent to credit card fraud for $500 to $1,000, right? And so I just want to get y'all to jump in. I'm gonna start with you, Rollo.
Man, Doc, I don't know. Doc, when I had first seen it and I heard about it, it was kind of more so I was in passing. But I think you made the post, and I'm just looking like, I know people that I was incarcerated with that had those kind of charges, and man, some of those people only had like 6 months, if that. So it's ex- extremely sad because all this time, man, everyone and including everyone here has been so strong about being able to get some type of anything for this young lady, and they saying that what happened to her was worth the same thing as people getting charged with white collar crimes. Like, man, that's just sad. It's sad.
Yo, it's insane, really.
Yeah.
Juwan, what's your thoughts?
It really just blows my mind. Like, I feel like everybody knew that was going to come. Um, but it's just heartbreaking. Like, I do a lot of work, a lot of groundwork, and I really don't pay attention to much of the policing and stuff. But uh, a lady I work with, she lives in Southeast. Her son was killed 2 years ago, and the young man is out. He's because of COVID, and he was a minor when it happened. He's still out on the loose. And then I have another student that I work with. He stabbed and killed a laundromat worker, and he got life in prison. So I'm just not understanding the system. Like, it's just mind blowing. The system is mind blowing to me. Just how people are charged, and just being in one area, how it's different in one place than it is somewhere else. It's mind blowing.
Fresh.
Yeah, man. I'm really me. I'm not surprised. I'm real loud. Like I was in. First thing I thought about was Trayvon Martin when I was in Ben's next door when the verdict came down for Trayvon Martin. How Slim was going innocent. Like that's the first thing I'm tired of getting let down by the system. I ain't even thinking about the system. Like they would never do us right. So it's like for me to work my mind and really be around the stuff that I'm around and really care for the system when I know like look at what just happened just now to Breonna Taylor. Like for me, I'm really I've been gone done with this system. I'm tired of the system. Like if I really believe that they was gonna do Breonna Taylor right, I'll be on here like, you know what I'm saying, cool. But I don't even want to go too far in it because I feel the same way I felt for Trayvon Martin and his mother and his father. The same thing when I just heard about that about Breonna Taylor, the police not going to jail, like doing nothing like that. That's the first thing that came to my head just because all this stuff that's been going on. But that's the first thing Trayvon's family came in my head, and just like it's messed up out here. Like for us, it's really it's messed up. And I don't see nothing changing from it because it's the system of the slavery. It's like it's already it ain't nothing been changed. Like the main rules to this system is to break us down. So it's gonna do its job. You know what I'm saying? To people really want to get into that type of business and have that type of mind as far as politic business and really stand on it and know that you're going against everything that you fight for. Like everything you fight for, you going they going against that. What you fighting for, they going against that. It's been set up before you had the brain to know that you was in this system that they put against you. It's been set up, so it's like I don't really I'm messed up, but I'm not gonna be in my feelings too bad because I already know like it's gonna happen again. Like you know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's gonna happen again. Man, somebody just died with their neck, like on his neck, and George Floyd just died with his on his neck in the same year. Couple months later, you get not guilty sentences for people like come on now. 1+1 = 2 in any country you go to. This shit is adding up 1+1 for them. That's how I feel I've been gave up on the system. If I say too much right there, I've been gave up on the system. Cause
Nah, I feel you. I think
I'm young too,
a
so I'm
lot of
young.
us in our community feel that way.
I'm young, and I know like the people that I'm around, older people I'm around, they realize they like shorty, fuck them. Like that's all the mind they got. They don't even know like how we should really go about it. It's just fuck them. You feel what I'm saying? It ain't no way like let's fight them this kind of way. Let's take over this. Let's do. We got to do this. It's just a fuck them attitude. Like let them do them, and we gonna do us. That's what people like. They ain't really trying to break them down. Like Tony Lewis, like I know Tony Lewis trying to break them down. You feel me? But the people I'm around, they not trying to break them down. They still trying to just do what they do and stay out their way the best way they can. Cause that's gonna happen regardless if they right or wrong. That's what's gonna happen. They ain't trying to hear that we trying to take care of something, and this the only way we can take care of it. They ain't trying to hear that shit.
Tony, what's your thoughts, Tom?
He got his mic
Yeah,
muted.
dog. Yeah,
Yeah,
can you
I can
guys
hear
hear
you
me?
now.
And first, that was definitely well stated though.
you
Nah,
good?
I'm
Yeah, we
unmuted.
can
I
hear you.
Good.
thought. Can you guys hear me? Y'all can hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me? Okay. I think that I'm good. Okay. We're in a time where I think this is gonna be a watershed moment. I mean, obviously, I'm not surprised when they announced the amount of the settlement of $12 million. I knew that was setting up for this, right? That was sort of lessening the blow. But even within that, I think when the white woman got shot in Minnesota by the Somalian American police officer, I think she got like $25 million. Her family got $25 million. So even in death, our lives are devalued, right? But up to now, this one officer, and he may even beat that, right? And they gave him a charge that's not even worth charging him with, just to sort of appease things. And what my next step for me is just looking at, it's going to be protest, there's going to be unrest, and it's going to play into the narrative of the anarchy narrative. It's going to be used as a political tool, and it's fresh stated so eloquently, man. The system continues to be the system, and I really don't know what happens from here. And then another thing, I mean, what we got to be strategic as a people in a lot of ways, right? We 13% of the population, but in this time and with all of the sort of racial overtones and undertones, when you see things like this that is for honestly un-American, if you believe in the ideal of America, and for these things to continue to exist, it's the levee gonna break. It's almost inevitable that it does not, right? There's no way that the system can continue to carry on in this way and tell us one thing and show us another. But again, I just hope that if there's any silver lining, that these things push us closer together. Shay mentioned we at war with the streets and with the system, and I hope that at some point the street wake up and understand that we can no longer be at war with each other in that way. That we must fortify and come together and unify and galvanize and be able to protect our own. Uh, but until we continue to be siloed and fragmented, these I think it still allows for these things to even happen with less consequence. And so I just pray that we can find some way to bring upon a reckoning that does not completely you know ruin, sort of the stability or any stability that we had. But I think people just getting fed up, particularly younger people. You can't keep it's been going on for centuries, man. And it's too much.
Amen. Booby.
Not shocked at all. Understanding the dynamics of the judicial system in Kentucky, we deal with a Commonwealth state. Uh, I've been in Kentucky when I was in the feds. I actually had a warden tell us that they never seen black people before until they opened that prison when I was in Big Sandy, right? This was stated. So that tells you the demographic makeup of the state of Kentucky, right? As Tony said, when you start talking about the 12 million that they gave them, they knew that this was coming down the pipeline already because how they was presenting it to the grand jury. When you go to the grand jury, you present things, and then the grand jury make a finding based off your representation of what you present. However they presented it in order for it to be what it is. Because they could easily went in there and said that these officers busted in and shot this young lady, and if those were the only facts that the grand jury had to deal with, then I believe that they would have indicted. But being as though they went in there and they formatted it however they formatted it, because we don't have the grand jury transcripts, but I'm promising you it's not the way that the story is that the general public is getting about the matter, right? So nothing surprised me when you got a prosecutor presenting evidence to a group of people in order to indict some officers. I mean, if I'm not with it, I'm not with it. I'm going ahead as formality, right? As a formality, I'm gonna walk into this courtroom because it's my job. But it's my job to do this presentation. So however I presented, I did my job. Whether it was a good job, bad job, but in between, the grand jury is held in secrecy. So like we'll never know who was in there, really what was said. So with that being said, how do you expect the same government to pay you $12 million than to go in there and represent you as a and to represent their self as killers? It's impossible. We gave you 12 million. As Tony said, we left it in the blow. Look, we about to go on here on our BS and give you this 12 million. We're gonna call it a day. And that's exactly what happened. It was a pay to play type of situation. How do you even reach a verdict for how do you even reach an agreement for a settlement, right? And there hasn't even been nothing really articulated or put out there. So what was the statement of facts that they told the family in order to come to the $12 million settlement?
Right.
Because they told them something. If you're saying it was a wrongful death, right? I'm giving you 12 million for a wrongful death settlement, then that means that it was negligence. The reason that you pay when you pay in a lawsuit is because someone was negligent. Someone hit you on the car, you fell on the sidewalk, something of that nature, right? So if they gave you $12 million, they admitted to some form of negligence to the family, but they didn't present that same negligence to the grand jury. It's humanly impossible. And that's just my opinion on it.
Nah, I mean, I agree with you 150%. I think what, and this is another issue that I just have in terms of even settlements, right? Like, as taxpayers, we're paying not only the salaries of the police, and our tax dollars are going to that budget, but we're also paying for the settlements. And so what people don't fail to even understand, even as taxpayers, we are paying for the killing and the mistakes of the police as even taxpayers. Like, that money's not coming out of the police department's budget. That's coming out of the budget of the city, that comes from the taxpayers' dollars that we're actually paying for. So when you have a $12 million settlement, we're paying for the police, and we also paying for the police to kill police's mistakes. So that $12 million is not touching their pocket at all, which is why qualified immunity is so important, right? Because if you was able to just sue the cop, half of the nonsense we see right now wouldn't even be going down. But because we're paying for it, why would they even care? They could give somebody $50 million. That's still going to come from the money that we have given up for that.
And I just wish, both sides could have showed, more restraint. You know what I mean? I think that, when I was reading the article, we was going through the article the other day, it said that the gentleman who shot at the police, was thinking that it was her ex-boyfriend coming through that door, right? And I think that's a form of trauma, right? He done got into it with the dude a couple times, so now he living on edge right now. So anybody that comes through that door, he ready to kill, right? I just wish that he'd have just thought a little more or hesitated a little more, because ultimately that young woman's life was taken. His life wasn't taken, and the police officer's life wasn't taken. You understand what I'm saying? So I just wish both sides would have showed a little more restraint, man, because when it come down to it, and people can say what they want to say, if old boy ain't fired that bullet, you know what I'm saying, who's to say that she wouldn't still be here? So I think we got to help hold both sides, accountable, for their actions. You know what I mean? A lot of people say,
who's to say?
A lot of people say, who's to say if somebody come busting through your door that you're not going to shoot first, shoot through the door. And my rebuttal to that was, I need to see what I'm hitting. because I'm scared my kids won't come out of the room and they might catch one of them spare bullets. You know what I mean? That's just my perspective and my opinion.
But Shayla, can I ask you a question, sir?
Say
Go
it
ahead,
again,
Tony.
Tony.
Go ahead, Tony.
Okay, but who's to say? Who's to say? Oh, I'm sorry. Who? But I hear that. But my question would be, I mean, I think it's impossible for us to say what would have happened, right? Because for one, she wasn't the one that shot, and they killed her, shot her multiple times, and he ain't died. You know, they didn't even hit the shoot up as much. I'm just saying that maybe they could have came in there with the mindset that they was shooting at. You know, if they saw anything that look at the gun, I think we can't. You know, I think we got to tread lightly on saying we don't know what would have happened if he wouldn't have shot. Right? We really don't know. They would have came in there to serve the warrant or whatever they was doing, and they could have still shot her. You know what I mean? I think because they're the professionals. It's not an even playing field, right? That's the thing with that. Like, yeah, it could have prompted their reaction, but they are the professionals. You know what I'm saying? They are. He's not a professional. They are. So the level of restraint is not even in terms of what should happen from a citizen and a police officer. A police officer is trained to be able to dissect, assess, and act properly. And to Booby's point, is apparent that they acted improperly, even in terms of how many times they shot. You know, all of these things that, you know what I mean, speaks to, you know, these officers should be held accountable despite what happened prior to them murdering that girl.
Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't be held accountable, Tony. I totally agree that they definitely should be held, you know, accountable for their actions. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm gonna stand on what I said. Sometimes I feel like, you know, we got to be accountable for our actions too. You know what I mean? So regardless of, you know, who he thought it might have been, it wasn't, and we can't bring her back. So we don't know, like you said, we don't know how it would have played out. But I do know, as anybody else know, you know what I mean, when you shoot at the police, ultimately, what's going to happen?
Well, if I can interject.
Go ahead, Booby.
If I was to interject in that, right, it's called self-preservation. If I already got a problem with Tony, he already been over here, and then somebody busting the door. Self-preservation is I'm shooting first, asking questions later. I think I'm just overall on the whole situation. I think that's the gist of it. I don't think it was fuck the police and I'm shooting, right. It was more so like you feel what I'm saying? It was more so like, hey, they didn't bust in the door. Somebody's coming through my door. I'm shooting first, asking questions later. That's called self-preservation, right? That's what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Because the police do it. The police will kick the door open and they'll see something, right? And they'll shoot first and they asking questions later. So it's all right for them to do it. But now when it's civilian do it, you know, it's a different ball game because the civilian did it, right?
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that regardless, bullets don't have a name on it.
Most definitely don't. We all know that.
And we talk about how, you know, these young guys out here just shooting up everything and killing young innocent kids, right? They're not aiming for who they want to hit. They don't know who they trying to hit. They just shooting. But
it's a different scenario. We talking about someone inside of their dwelling, their home, right?
Yeah,
you in your home. You're supposed to have the right in your home to protect yourself. So if someone intrudes into your home, right? You have the right to defend yourself. Are you going to wait?
Are you closing your eyes to shoot?
It don't matter. Listen, if somebody start kicking on my door right now, right? You think I'm going over to the door to try to see who it is? Or when that door fly open, you think I'm gonna pause to see who it is? No, I'm gonna let go. I'm trying to back you. The whole point is to try to back you up off of me, right?
Yeah, but you don't know who kicking on the door at that particular time. It could be a young lady. It could be a young lady.
Exactly. But it's self-preservation. When I'm telling you it's self-preservation, this is my home. This is my safety. I pay the bills here. That's my door is locked. No one should be kicking on no one's door under no circumstances unless you're serving a warrant. And if you're serving a warrant, you should properly announce police. Search warrant.
Exactly.
Right? That's repetitiously. That's repetitiously. I've been in multiple warrants, houses have been searched. And the minute they come to the door, all they keep yelling is
It's
police search warrant. Put your hands up. Police search warrant. So before you even get a chance to even think nothing, you hear them before you damn near see them the majority of the time. When they bang on the door, they yelling police search warrant. So there was something, there was a miscommunication and a disconnect in this situation.
Right.
Speculating, I don't know. I wasn't there, but it seems that there was some type of disconnect of communication from the police standpoint inside the house, because if you coming through the door and no one is recognizing that you are an authority figure, then there was a miscommunication on the other side of that door. You ain't say it loud enough, or you ain't say it at all, right? Or you only announced it and they never heard it. So that guy was on self-preservation time. So we got to deal with self-preservation. We're not just talking about being outside and somebody spinning the bin. We talking about being in the comfort of your house with your shoes off, your clothes off, your flip-flops on, your family in here, your girl in here. Man, I don't have time to find out who it is trying to come in my house. I'm trying to blow your ass up, and I deal with that. What's the morgue when the police come to scrape your ass up? I explain it. But if you the police, like I said,
you got to deal with the consequences for your actions, right?
I'm willing to deal with the consequences for my actions, but at the end of the, I'm not disputing the consequences, right? When I'm telling you the foundation of what the statement that I made was self-preservation. That's the foundation. It's not that he was trying to spin the bin and hit something. He was just trying to protect himself, right? So when they start letting go, by the time they start letting go and they yell police, Shorty could already been hit.
But I think
got to let him go.
What they said in the article that he fired first.
But at the end of the day,
I'm not disputing that.
At the end of the day, his actions were still warranted because he never got charged for that. And the reason why he didn't get charged because stand your ground rules. So they knew when they did a no-knock warrant and bust in his crib and he let off at him, legally
completely out of line. Right, it was completely out of line.
Now they responded to it
in a concealed carry state.
The whole situation was
in a concealed carry state. Everybody in Kentucky got guns. Everybody in Kentucky got guns, just like West Virginia, right? These states are very gun friendly. So listen, them pistols out there, they aren't there for play. That's the problem with people. People think that when you pull them pistols out, it's a joke. No, anytime you pull that gun, you better be ready to use it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you running from the police, you facing a dude on the street, be ready to use it. You ain't ready to use it, leave it on your hip. Because if the police on your line, you're going to jail anyway if they behind you. Yeah. If you pull it, be ready to bust it. And he was ready to bust it when he pulled it. And that's what he did. Now, the consequences of that is something different. But the police was negligent. That's why they went over there and gave him that $12 million. Because they admitting to their negligence. They admitted to it without being charged. Yeah. That's all in a nutshell. Whether he was wrong for shooting or not.
In a no-knock warrant is what really had the domino effect.
The same thing happened in New York. They busted an old lady apartment and killed her in New York. No knock warrant.
Yeah.
No knock.
Wrong house. No knock warrant. This ain't the first time, and it won't be the last time. This ain't the first time or the last time. Kentucky, New York, it's gonna happen. It's continue to happen. Listen, accidental deaths and overkill and stuff like that will happen until the world stops spinning. Let's not get that misconstrued. The world is built on balance. We gotta have death in order to have life.
Yeah.
We can't choose how we want to die. Everybody wants to bed with everybody around so that they can, leave out and tell their family, I love you, I see you on the other side. It don't happen like that. I'm sorry, it's the movie. You feel what I'm saying? If you want that type of ending, go watch a story on Netflix. Because the reality is, none of us know how we going. I can be the next person that they bust in my house and kill me.
Yeah.
That's life. That's called life, right? So when we start dealing with life, we got to get away from these scripts that we done picked up from watching so much TV, right? Because dudes talk about shootouts like they be 40 minutes. Yeah, they be 40 minutes on TV and heat. The dude spin your block, it'd be 5 seconds. Nigga, they have
fast. Yeah.
So Booby, I want
shots, everybody.
But then also you gotta understand that when somebody come through your door, Booby, I don't care who it is. I'm hitting who I want to hit. I'm not just shooting just to shoot the wall. I need a target for somebody to come through that door. Me and you different. You get what I'm saying? You might off or whoever.
Sometimes you got off. Sometimes you got off.
I need somebody in my line of sight, the butt to hit.
I think
my intention isn't to hurt you for real, right? But if I let off, I'm trying to get you up off of me. You might back up when you hit it. Because the average motherfucker ain't running towards no gun. I ain't seen a motherfucker run towards gunshots.
Yeah.
In the movies, I ain't seen, and I've been on the block, right? I've been on the block where they clicking that for real. Niggas get down and get low and then try to see where they man at and let back off. Ain't nobody running towards no bullet. So if motherfucker coming through your door and they hear that shit go off, a lot of times they back up. And if it is the police, they might back up and say, "Man, we the
So
police."
you said he used it as a deterrent.
It was a miscommunication.
OTL. Mafia music. I don't really do the computers. I'm in the street with the movers. I'm on the block with the shooters. I'm on the block with the shooters. We got the F as a Rubens. I drip on them, God, excuse me. My bitch look like